Rob, final question. I have to ask, what has the mood been like amongst the English rugby public? Of course, huge upset and disappointment of England exiting the tournament. It's changed the dynamics, of course, in terms of the playoff contenders, etc. What have you noticed while you've been there?
Certainly, that there has been it's been a killer blow to sort of the whole English mood. There's no question about it. I mean, while England was still in the running, you went past just about every pub, probably pubs which used to sort of be more sort of football focused, and now conveniently will switch back to that mode in a hurry. You'd go through past pubs which you expect to be in areas that, for instance, are, as I say, more sort of soccer focused, and you'd see lots of World Cup flags, England scarves, banners, etc., and really wanting to pull in the punters to get behind England. And of course, there's a huge spanner in the works there. They've been talking about an enormous, sort of multi-millions cost to they talk about, everything from the economy to lost revenue from advertising on ITV, which has been the host broadcaster here. And the newspapers, I've noticed, have suddenly, their sort of, 24-page World Cup supplements have suddenly dried up. All the sort of things that were, those sort of supplements were going to be presumably powered by England going a long way in the tournament and national mood being strong. That said, Nick, there are so many expats in this country that there's still the opportunity for a great vibe anyway. I mean, the South Africans have got a traveling green and gold army, some of them from South Africa, but a good many of them, living, smack in the heart of London, working here, earning pounds, so able to follow the Boks around. So it's not as though the mood has gone completely dead. I wouldn't say it's as dead as, for instance, the '99 Cricket World Cup, when I came over here, and coincidentally England also blew out in that Cricket World Cup after the group stage, which was even more of a killer because, cricket, it can be sort of perhaps slightly more hard sell. And I remember the mood going absolutely flat as a pancake then. But this World Cup is still pretty much alive and kicking because of the sheer volume of especially South African and Antipodean expats who live here. So it's not as though it's gone away completely. And there's still very generous coverage in the media, but the 16 pages of sort of all England analysis have suddenly dried up, except for talk, for instance, of who's going to be the next coach. And of course, we've been seeing names like Eddie Jones, Jake White. From a South African interest point of view, being dragged into it again. I think the Stormers will be very interested to hear that Eddie Jones has been linked, considering that he's supposedly on the dotted line for the Stormers from next year. But inevitably, you get the same names that do come up when a prize job like that comes on the line. So there has been still that interest from an English media point of view in what's gone wrong, the huge post-mortem about England, which still keeps the pages occupied with rugby coverage, I suppose.
I mean, Rob, I know in cricket the Proteas are often the neutrals' favourites. Who do you think the England supporters are going to rally behind now in terms of winning the Cup?
Yeah, that's an interesting one because the thing is, of course, when they play the Six Nations, there's massive rivalry. So, there's English versus Welsh and English versus Scottish regional passions. Some of those home unions find it hard to slip in for support behind one of their own suddenly when, for instance, England, as has happened now, have bowed out, and you're left with, Wales, Ireland, potentially Scotland, France also still in the mix. I don't think you'll ever find English supporters getting behind the French. That's an unlikely scenario. But I
can't see them getting behind the All Blacks either.
No, not really. I think the Springboks are a popular side. They've done a lot of pretty good PR here. They've been very approachable. I've always noticed that the Boks are very partial to whenever they get seen in vaguely sort of public situations, like at Newcastle train station the other day when the Boks actually caught the train down after the Scotland game, and to the delight of not just their fans but plenty of other neutral fans. They posed for selfies, autographs, chats. They're very sort of accessible to the general rugby public at this World Cup, which has made them quite popular and perhaps a little bit of a break from some of the Springbok teams of old, who used to be a little bit more insular. So that's been a pleasing development. I wouldn't say English fans have universally united behind South Africa. I suspect that they will still want to see a Northern Hemisphere team or a couple of Northern Hemisphere teams obviously go quite a long way, because we still fight battles across the equator in rugby terms as well. And I suspect the English public will be getting their weight behind the likes of Wales, Ireland, etc. And we've obviously got some pretty good games coming up that will be quite important in determining just how far some of the Northern Hemisphere teams may go. So passion's still very much alive, which is obviously pleasing.
Great, Rob. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
we'll
Nick.
Chat to you hopefully ahead of the quarterfinal.
Absolutely.
Right.